So we hit the set. We say hi to everybody. I drink some hot chocolate. I don't know what Sam drinks.
I drink some hot tea.
and then after walking through the set and just getting a look at it, Sam, myself, Adrian, and the AD would sit down and we would talk about what we are doing that day. And so usually at that point we just literally take the script and we read through it together. Here's the scene. We say this, we say this, we say this, we do this. Then we take a whiteboard and we draw out a map, an overhead map of the scene. We start breaking down our shots.
Exactly, and that involves everything from where actors are going to be, where camera's going to be, even sometimes like, all right, everyone else can hang out here and just stage all their equipment here because we're never going to see this part for the day or this particular shot. After we're done placing those little pieces, then we order them as well. So we make sure we have an efficient pattern to, achieve each shot and setup that we need.
Yeah. You don't necessarily go into that plan making the explicit, rigid plan for the whole day.
Things always change.
Yeah, it's a way for you to get started and get things figured out. So at the start, you'll just talk about shots you want. It's like, I want to close up on this, and I want a wide over here, and I want to get this shot over here. And after you kind of talk about all those shots and where people are going to go, then you start thinking about, well, it'll be smart if we do these 3 shots first, because that way everybody can be over here, and then the next time, like after that, we'll flip and we'll do these 3 shots so everybody moves over here.
Exactly.
And, like, start talking about lights. Adrian's working with Chris Miller on the lighting team, who's the gaffer, to figure out where the lights are going to go, where we're going to light things. And we only had a limited number of lights. So, for example, in Vault 1, we lit the big room where all the Marines were first, and then we timed it so that they could tear those lights down and put them in the vault to light the vault for when we shot inside the vault, and then they could tear those down and move the lights to the back room for Miller the character, his little run through where he ices a bunch of guys in action hero fashion.
Exactly. So once we have that basic structure down of our shots in order, then we kind of turn it over to our AD, and we also go to the other departments and talk about the general structure for the day. So usually I would start by going to Sparky, who is our armorer, and he's handling all the blank weapons, and I'd say, so we're going to see these characters with these guns at this time, and then later in the day, these, and so on and so forth. And so he'd go begin preparing all that stuff. We'd then go talk to like Nils and say, Nils, we have these stunts at this time of the day, and then we're going to do them in this order. So get the guy on fire here, and get the guys being thrown through the window here.
Yeah, they'll know like where to pad up.
And so he does that. And so we basically start just going through every single department, trying to communicate, all right, this is the order we're doing it. Here's the board so we can see where things are going to happen, and the order in which they will happen.
Yeah, and I usually would talk to the art team, saying we need this prop here, we need this prop here, we need these things done here. And then usually by that point, the actors are getting their makeup finished or they're in costume, and we go and start talking to the actors about the scenes that we're going to shoot. Having read through the script ourselves, we talk about it, and so we'd get them at least preliminary thinking about, here's the things you got to think about, here's the challenge we're going to face today, here's something I got to ask of you, etc. Then the actors would roll onto set. So the very next thing we do is we'd start doing just a reading rehearsal. We don't even really worry about blocking yet. We just have them say the lines. Prove to us that you've memorized the script.
So, the thing is, generally, before we even start going off of that plan, the main thing is, all right, so we finally have everything we need there for the scene. We have our actors, all the props and the wardrobe, everything in the background.
Lights are set up.
Yeah, things are mostly decorated, so we're all generally there. But before we even record, the key to making everything work is just having people just walk the walk. They're not acting, they're just, generally getting comfortable in the space. And this allows everybody to just generally see what's happening in the scene. And this is basically just called blocking. So we block the scene. This just allows everyone the opportunity to just see what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it comes off one way on the page, and then on set, it looks completely different than what people were expecting.
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure it's super clear. All right, this is what we're doing. This is where the camera's going to be. And once we're set.
Well, so once we do blocking, then we do our camera rehearsal for the first shot. We start setting up the first shot. Because blocking, you'll tend to kind of just block the whole scene. And it's good because it gives people an idea of where they're coming from, where they're going. And it's better to just film a whole segment and get your coverage for the moments you need than to try to start and stop and start and stop, start and stop, and get all the little bits. You just do the whole freaking thing. And so after that, we'll move into our camera rehearsal. We take our cameras, and we were always running 2 cameras. So we would take our cameras, we'd set them up, and we start running the scene with cameras to see if the angles were working. And that's when the final tweaks start coming into place. Like, okay, we need to adjust the blocking over here, we need to adjust the slide over here. Sound is checking their height for the microphone with where they can stand. We're adjusting angles a little bit based on everything. And then at that point, we actually pause And then any actors that need a lavalier mic run up into their costume tend to go get mic'd at that point.
Everyone gets
Final
to do their
adjustments are made.
last looks, basically,
Yeah.
where we have everything generally pretty much ready to go, and that way everyone can come in, everyone tweaks their own little thing, sound tweaks the sound, art tweaks the art, guns tweaks the guns.
Actors are asking questions.
I tweak the actors.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we start rolling. And what we tended to do is we'd roll like 2 or 3 takes, and then usually on the last take we either throw them a curveball of direction,
Or ask for the special.
ask for the special. Give us the Jeff special, the Lou special. Actually, we never called the actors by their names on set. We'd always call them by their character names. Give us
Yeah.
the Miller special.
Offset, sometimes we even call them, like in real life, sometimes I'd call them like their character name.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but they prefer it. They prefer it.
And that last little bit, when you give them that curveball or you have the special, that's when everything becomes spontaneous again, because they've rehearsed everything, they've practiced everything, they've blocked everything, and they've done it over and over and over. And it can be good, but you lose a little bit of that spark, that
Yeah.
little bit of natural,
It's like, oh, this
in the
feels
moment
real.
spark.
It's
Yeah.
like, this doesn't feel rehearsed.
yeah. And so right at the end, you throw them that curveball, and everything's all comfortable, they know their lines, they're moving through it smoothly, and they can finally start reacting to things for real in that moment. And that's when we get the good performances.